How about this, though? A Puerto Rican publication, El Vocero, or it might be El Vocero, is quoting Yadier Molina as saying that he is talking to the Cardinals about a full-time coaching job. Quote, right now we're in contact with St. Louis to become a coach for the Cardinals and help Marmol. He's still the manager, but I'd be there alongside him. Nothing's concrete yet, but we're working on it. Those are the words of one Yadier Molina. What do you think? We want to hear from you in the chat. This is the way for Yadier Molina to become a major league manager rather than go through no processes of becoming a manager. The smart thing for him to do is to show that he's capable of being a teacher and a coach and a responsible person on a baseball team that doesn't take off when his basketball team is playing in the middle of a season. I think there are things that he can show to allow himself to be thought of as a major league manager.
Yeah, and do you think this is the first step in him, trying to show that to a lot of people?
No doubt about
it. And part of it's got to be Albert Pujols is now on the fast track to probably being announced as a manager in the next month or so. And I guess Yadi's saying, well, now it's time for me to put in what Pujols did. Now, Pujols was on the media and the broadcasting side of thing, but people saw his determination to make baseball the next part of his life, just like it was the first couple parts. And I think Yadi, the question has been, for very good reasons, are you willing to make baseball this next chapter of your life, just like it was when you were a player?
And Pujols has an advocate and a buddy in Arte Moreno, the owner of the Angels, who, by all accounts, wants Pujols to be that team's manager. There is nobody in baseball that is an advocate at this point, at least, for Yadier Molina to be their manager. One thing that I know you're thinking about is that Katie Wu wrote a piece about Yadi last March in which he said that he was concentrating on being with his family and being with his kids. His son is a senior now in high school in Austin, Texas. At about the same time, the Cardinals will be starting spring training in February. His son will be starting his final season, his senior season of baseball. And Yadi made it a point in that story to say that he kind of just sits and watches. He doesn't coach his son very much during games, but once his son decides upon where he's going to go to college, there is no more real teaching for Yadi to do for that son. He also has an 8-year-old son, but he loves baseball. He loves the Cardinals. He wants to get back in it. And I think if he does truly want to become a major league manager, he needs to see what it's all about. And that includes the hours that have to be put in on a daily basis and the media responsibilities that managers have to deal with, because for a lot of people, the media is a tough thing. And Yadi was never a great media guy as a player. He needs to see what Oli Marmol has to go through on a daily basis.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing for him. And the daily basis stuff is always going to be the thing I question with Yadier Molina. Not the managing baseball on a daily basis, but the other stuff that comes into being a manager on a daily basis, dealing with the media and things like that. I don't perceive him doing a weekly radio show the way that certain managers have done so here in St. Louis, but
or even one on YouTube.
But it would be interesting to see his relationship with the media nonetheless.
Now, the positive of this is that anytime you can get somebody who spent as much time as he did with Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan and Skip Schumacher and Albert Pujols and that group of people, anytime you can get a Yadier Molina in the building, you're getting a smarter guy. And if he truly is committed to being a coach on a daily basis with his knowledge, he can be a huge difference maker for the Cardinals. Those pitchers meetings, all of a sudden, they take on a different level with Yadier Molina, who sat there through those meetings, first as a rookie with Mike Matheny, then with Dave Duncan, and then with a manager in Matheny. He understands how to go about attacking the opposition hitters, and he understands how to work with catchers in terms of utilizing their pitchers' best stuff. A guy like Ivan Herrera, who wants to catch, will be so much better off having Yadier Molina in the building than anybody else the Cardinals have. A guy like Pages will get better. The young catchers, if Yadier Molina is committed to teaching those guys what he knows, people like Jimmy Crooks and Leo Bernal and Rynel Rodriguez, they're all going to be better off because of the presence of Yadier Molina in their careers and in their lives. If he's not committed and he doesn't want to teach, then it'll be a different story altogether. But at this point, at least, it appears he's interested. He wouldn't tell a Puerto Rican newspaper that he was in talks with the Cardinals to become a full-time coach if he wasn't all in on it. I don't think that he would want to start that conversation publicly unless he was all in on it.
I think this chat right here from Garrett Brown on Facebook, and please, guys, join the chat. Get into the conversation. You guys can chat with each other. You can chat with us on the show. We'll throw it up on the screen, and we'll react to it throughout this program from now until about 4 p.m. Garrett Brown again on the Facebook. Yadi would be extremely valuable on a daily basis for the entire team, honestly. When you get down to the question of why make this happen, the nostalgia obviously carries a little bit of the after factor, but the actual discussion of why make this move, I think Garrett summed it up pretty succinctly in that one sentence.
Yeah, it's there theoretically shouldn't be any negatives. Now there could be negatives, and it depends on. Hey, at this time, 4 years ago, Matt Holliday was announced as the Cardinals' new hitting coach, and then he decided, you know what, he wanted to spend more time with his family, which is fine.
And as we heard from the latest Serving It Up, he has to have the important conversations. That's the thing about Matt Holliday. He's spending his time having the important conversations now on Serving It Up with our good friend Jimmy the Cat Hayes and sometimes guest Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, yeah, you have to watch that on Jimmy the Cat Hayes podcast. Yeah,
unbelievable.
It is interesting stuff without question.
Imaginary Cobra. Oh boy, can't wait until people are calling for Yadi's job for letting our piss poor pitching kill us every night.
Well, that's just the way things are in 2025 with the social media age and the microwave era in which we live. It's if there's a bad night for a pitcher, somebody's got to be to blame, right? It can't be the pitcher. Can't be the other team's hitters being good. It's got to be the people that are teaching the pitcher or the people that are managing the pitcher. It can't be the pitcher himself or the fact that the opposition is any good, right?
No. The opposition also being talented baseball players is a factor I think other people like to forget. Robert Johnson, Yadi was one of the most prepared players to ever play here. If he wants it, he'll be fine. If he'll embrace the whole job. I think it's crazy to think he won't.
Yeah, and
well, I mean, it's not. We're in fairness, he's basing his. It's crazy to think he won't commit based on his playing career. None of our reaction to this is based on his playing career.
No,
the entirety of our reaction to this is based off the immediacy of what happened at the very end of his attendance in his playing career and the immediacy after that, and when he was announced as a special assistant to the general manager and things like that. Those are the things that we're reacting to here, not anything to do with how prepared he was as a player.
No.
That, of course, is why everyone's excited about this.
And I think we also have to look at human nature here, because Yadier Molina, as a player, as you said, was incredibly prepared, but also incredibly talented. There were things that Yadi could do because he's exceptionally gifted.
Has any catcher been able to make the ball stick to their chest?
No, that's pretty incredible.
Right there.
But let's also look at human nature here. In his career, Yadier Molina made almost $174 million, $173,998,500, almost 174. Okay,
what does a basketball team cost?
Probably 170 million or
okay.
Something like that. Not in Puerto Rico though. But here's my thing: if you are set for life, and your kids are set for life, and your grandkids are set for life, are you going to really want a job that requires you to be at said job at 10 or 11 in the morning? You're there, you're taking care of players all afternoon up until game time. The game ends at 9:30 or 10. You stay there with your coaches and manager until 11 or 12 and then go home, probably get to bed 1:30ish, and then start it all over again the next day. You are working basically 13 and 14-hour days if you have one of those coaching jobs. I don't think they need to do that, but that's what they like to do because everybody else is doing it. It's kind of like football coaches who spend the night in their office. Well, if he's doing it, then I got to do a half hour more. It's ridiculous, but it's true. Joe Torre did fine at managing by getting to the ballpark at 3 p.m. and leaving after the game. But the way it works now is you get there at 10, 10:30, 11 in the morning, and then you don't leave until 11:30, 12 at night. Is a guy who has $174 million in the bank, does that make sense for him? Human nature would lead me to believe that you don't really have to work that hard. maybe Yadi loves the game that much that he wants to work despite the fact that he has that much money, and he wants to work with young players who can be a hassle at times and don't know the game as well as he does. He might want to work with players and work that hard with players. I'm really intrigued to see how much he'll want to put up with, because he's going to run into that catcher now and then, or that hitter that's going to say, yeah, well, I don't need to really listen to you because I'm here and I'm going to do what got me here.
Here's why I think that's a really good take, because here's why we know Yadier Molina has the itch to be a manager. Not only has he stepped up and obviously got contacted the Cardinals multiple times about how he can contribute in his post-playing style, but also he's been the manager of Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, the grind of being the manager for a few months around one tournament, or the few months leading up to that tournament, or the every once in a while when you play a few tune-up games, or in the ramp up to a tournament like that, that's a lot different than the everyday 162 grind. So to your point, we know he loves baseball. We know he wants to be involved in baseball in his post-playing career. There's no doubt about that. But that's why I think the grind is a reasonable question, because we know he wants to be a manager. But the difference between doing the WBC and doing a full major league team, apples to oranges.
Yeah, spring training and the travel of a regular season is a real grind. Brian, money means nothing to a driven man. I think money drives a lot of people too. I think that is the drive for a lot of people.
I think a lot of driven people have a level for contentness. I think there are people out there who can never stop, but I think there are some people out there who, if they see, if you see 14 million, they go, all right, I think I'm gonna pack it up, be a family guy, love my family, travel a lot, and I'll game it out well that I can live off that the rest of my life. Like, there's some people who are driven enough to become millionaires, who are then content enough to kind of live a normal life after that.
Brian tells us Yadi is Tony La Russa Jr. Interesting. Tony really had to work hard to get to the majors. Tony was a George Kissel disciple, which Yadi may be. And I get what you're saying in regards to their competitiveness. Tony, even in his 80s, needs to have a W or an L next to his name every single day. Tony still travels with the Chicago White Sox. They're just the way that they had their careers is different. Tony La Russa had to work really hard just to get to the majors and play not even a full season at the major league level. Yadier Molina was in the majors at the age of 20 and played for 20 years in the majors. So his vision of what it takes to make it to the major leagues is probably different than Tony's. I'm sure the appreciation level for somebody who makes it to the majors is very high for Yadier Molina, but probably not like Tony La Russa. And here is, if he is Tony La Russa Jr., Tony La Russa he was a major league manager, I think, at the age of 36. He spent like 5 years as a minor league manager before he ever got a chance to manage in the majors. And then he went through that grind with the White Sox. He won quickly with the White Sox. Then he went to Oakland, and then he obviously came here before going back to the White Sox. But Yadier Molina played until he was 40. Tony La Russa started managing when he was like 36. So I think there is a pretty substantial difference between the two in the way they lived their baseball lives.
So Tony La Russa, to that point, just to give you the context of it all, Tony La Russa took over in 1978 for the AA affiliate, the Knoxville Sox. 78. And then he spent a half season in Knoxville, was promoted to the White Sox coaching staff when Bill Veeck changed managers from Bob Lemon to Larry Doby.
Okay, and then when did he get the major league managing job? That was in the 79?
He was, because then La Russa was named manager of the AAA Iowa Oaks for 79, and he stepped up as the regular manager for the White Sox, I think halfway through the 79 campaign.
Okay, this is an interesting note. If Yadi comes back, that'd be good for the fan base as well. I wonder how many people would buy tickets simply because Yadier Molina was on the coaching staff. There'd probably be some. I know on that day that Yadi came back to be in the dugout that Friday night. I walked by, as I was walking into the ballpark, I walked by the ticket windows at Busch Stadium right to the left of the Musial statue, and there were multiple people standing in line wearing their Yadi jerseys. So I do think that would have a minor effect. It's not going to make you go from 2.2 million to 3.2 million again, but he could bring some people into the ballpark. He should probably get himself an attendance bonus, if nothing else, in his contract.
We're just having fun here. I'm going to throw up Tim Case from earlier in the show. Why not look at Yadi as a pitching coach like Dave Duncan, who was a former catcher? You've been around a lot of pitching coach. You've talked pitching coach strategy. Do you think Yadier Molina has a history maybe in that spot?
Oh, yeah. He could definitely be a preparer of game plans and a guy who sets up the way they attack. Now, one interesting thing about Dave Duncan, he really wasn't a mechanical savant as a pitching coach. He could find out if guys were tipping pitches, and he was great at delivering a game plan. I've told this story before, and Woody Williams has told this story if you've heard him, but Woody Williams, when he got here, his very first meeting with Dave Duncan, Woody was told in the meeting, hey, there's this hitter that won't swing at a curveball until it's 0-2. And so Woody gets ahead, it's 0-2. He throws him a couple of curveballs that he doesn't swing at, and then he gets him like on a fastball low and away with a third pitch that he did swing at. He got him to swing at a curve at 0-2. He threw curves. The guy wouldn't swing. 0-1, 0-2 in the zone. Then he throws a curve on 0-2, and the guy finally swung and he struck him out. And he said he threw 6 scoreless innings. I think that's what he did in his Cardinal debut. He said, I was sold after that because Dave Duncan provided the game plan, the roadmap to victory. And I'm sure that that's the best thing that Yadi would bring to the Cardinals, is that ability to combine the weaknesses of the hitter with the strengths of the pitcher, relay that to the catcher, and turn some of these pitchers into better pitchers. A guy like Palante, I think, would benefit greatly from the presence of a guy like Molina, because Andre has good stuff, but it's a matter of utilizing it in the proper way and taking nothing away from Pajes or the people that put together the Cardinal game plans, Dusty Blake and their game plan people. Nobody has the resume that Yadier Molina has to put the Cardinals in position to attack hitters. Hey, Missouri, get ready. The wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State, and you can sign up today. New Missouri customers get $300 in bonus bets when DraftKings launches on December 1st. Download the app now and place a $5 bet when DraftKings goes live, and DraftKings Sportsbook will bring everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when DraftKings officially goes live in Missouri, you'll be betting with the sportsbook app trusted by millions. It's safe, it's secure, and has fast money withdrawals. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code STL Sports to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when DraftKings goes live December 1st in Missouri. That's code STL Sports in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.